one of the key things about tonight is just telling you why the changes are being made, what some of the main changes are, not all of the changes, but some of the main ones, and then also the fact that the main thing to go away from here is not only you, but also tell your members to get on the website and give the feedback. Okay, so you give the feedback as to whether you like the changes or whether you don't like the changes. So that's on the R&A website. Rightio, so there's been a lot of criticism of the rules. Obviously, they're very complicated. There's 34 of them at the moment. They want to change to 24. And the reason that they want to change is, they are complicated and they want to simplify them for not only the golfers that play at the moment, but also potential new golfers coming along. Whilst they wanted to change and make it a lot easier, they also kept or wanted to keep to the two guiding themes or principles that they play under. And those two principles are to play the course as you find it and play the ball as it lies. So with the new rules, they're going to make them more simple, more consistent and more fair, or that's what they're trying to do at least, and more easily understood. They're going to rewrite the book. I don't know if anyone's checked out the way they've written the new book. They've tried to make that a lot easier to read, so it's not so technical like the rule book can be. So you can get on there at any time and check that out. It does have all the changes there at the moment. It'll be more intuitive, so if people just starting the game come along, they might have a better idea of what you can do without really knowing what golf is. That's always going to be a hard one because golf in itself is a different beast from most other sports. How many other sports have a toilet in the middle of where you play? It's, you wouldn't go and see a tennis court with a toilet in the middle, would you? Or maybe a snake, or cricket pitches can have bees in them, but how many cricket pitches or grounds have water hazards? They usually go off the ground when it starts to rain. So they also wanted to try and simplify them and take out the exception, a lot of the exceptions or the penalty traps. Because what you can actually do is you can read through the rule book and then you'll find, or read through a rule and then you'll find that there's exception 1, exception 2, exception 3. So pretty much, you can go ahead and do this or take a drop or whatever, unless you're here, or it's your partner or something like that. So there's a lot of things that it tells you that you can't do, but it doesn't tell you straight away. So they want to try and change that up. And also getting, or as you know, this has been around for years and years, but pace of play, and Brian's going to talk more about it as well. They want to change the rules and make them a little bit easier to be faster to play the game. So, as I said, we'll go through a few, and you can, you'll have your opinion as to what you think will work as to make the game faster, and then you might think, look, I don't think that's going to work as a pace of play tool. As I said, the best thing is to get on the website and give your feedback. Now, I must mention, Justin's doing some filming with this, but if you have any questions at all, just shout out or raise your hand and we'll go through them. How are the rules revised? Basically, they started in 1899 with about 13 rules, and then they tried to simplify them by giving you more rules. And then the USGA and the R&A tried to get together, or they started getting together in 1952. They really did get together in 1984 and got to the 34 rules that we have now. And now 2019 will be the implementation of the new rule book, but they've been talking about this new rules modernisation for about 6 or 7 years now. So it has been on the cards and something that they've wanted to work towards. Why now? Well, as you can see, this is the decisions book. I think, Chris, you brought along your rule book there. The rules book is 200 pages, and that's about size 7 or 8 font. The decisions book is 500 plus pages. It's got 1,250 decisions in it. How many people do you know that have actually read every decision? Probably none. So the point is the answers can be very hard to find, and the rule book language is dense and complex. So people just basically see it and go, look, I'm not going to read that. It's not supposed to be something that you do read, a novel, but it is supposed to be a reference point for how we play this game. So if it's too hard to actually find the answer, then it's not really working for the point that it's built for. So that's some of the current concerns as to why they want to change it. Some other current concerns: many golfers don't know the current rules. Commentators, well, that's a given, and other followers of the game find it very hard to understand the rules of golf. It states there that they can be intimidating and off-putting. That's a fair comment. You don't have, when you play golf, you don't have to play by the rules, but if you do play in a competition, then that's when you do have to play by the rules. So if you're just going out there for a social hit, you can drop the ball anywhere you want. But if you're playing in a competition with other people, then you have to play by the rules of golf. So just a summary of the proposed changes that we're going through. As I said, we won't go through all of them tonight, just some of the main ones. And they are when things happen to your ball, taking relief, special rules for specific areas. That'll be a really good one that we'll get to. A little bit on equipment, preparing for and making a stroke, and all of these together are supposed to promote that faster pace of play, and then reinforcing integrity. And on that, they are trying to trust the golfers more that they're going to play under the rules. So if the rules are simpler, then a lot more people will understand them and be able to follow them, and then they'll trust that they'll make the right decision and have high integrity to play under those rules. If you don't agree with that, I encourage you to get on the website and tell them. But that is one of the points that they're trying to go along. Right, so let's get into the actual changes. So accidentally moving your ball or ball marker on the putting green, there would no longer be a penalty. Now, this is not really something new in 2019. It's actually something that's come in this year that every club has an option of making as a local rule. Okay, so your club at the moment can make this as a local rule, that if you accidentally cause your ball to move, you just replace it for no penalty. So that shouldn't be too much of a surprise in 2019. It used to be directly attributable. If you move your ball marker and cause your ball to move, that's fine. But if you drop your ball marker on the ball, that would be a penalty, and you just replace it. Now, if you've got that local rule in, you can be having a practice putting stroke, accidentally hit your ball, you replace it for no penalty. So that won't be too much of a change for the Australian clubs in 2019. But the next one will be accidentally moving your ball during a search. There will no longer be a penalty. So if you stand on your ball in the deep rough, you just estimate the spot and replace it for no penalty. Yep. And the new standard for deciding if you caused your ball to move. Okay. At the moment, it's a kind of if you can't prove that you didn't do it, so you're guilty until proven innocent at the moment, it'll be turning around in 2019, so you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, so if, yep.
Just back to the accidentally moving your ball during search.
Yep.
You stood on your ball.
Yep.
And embedded it.
Yep.
What would happen?
In that case, you would just replace it to the most similar lie. Okay, just the most similar lie. But yeah, so at the moment, for the whether you caused your ball to move or not, you'd be guilty until proven innocent. 2019, unless someone can absolutely prove that you caused your ball to move, then there would be no penalty, and you just play it from where it lies. Yep. So a bit of a change there. I think everyone remembers the Dustin Johnson case from last year. So new procedure when you don't know exactly where your ball was at rest. So it was moved, say, by an outside agency or even standing on it. You just replace it. You don't have to drop it. Just estimate the spot and replace it. So if you see a crow or know that a crow took your ball, you don't know exactly where it was, okay, it was about there, and just replace it. Okay, that's a case of just trying to speed up play. Meaning of estimated spot. If your ball happened to be under a tree, you'd still have to replace it under the tree. Yeah, maybe that one might get a bit stretched, but I absolutely implore you, if you don't like that, absolutely get on the website and tell them as such. Is a good one, accidentally deflecting your ball in motion. So if you hit it, say you're in a bunker, you hit it into the bunker face, it bounces back and hits you. Or you hit it into a tree, it bounces back and hits your bag. No penalty, just play it as it lies. Okay, so at the moment it's a one-shot penalty. I think about 10 years ago it used to be a two-shot penalty. Now it's one-shot penalty. 2019, they're proposing that it's no penalty at all. Yep. Also, someone attending the flagstick or a removed or attended flagstick. So that's accidentally, so you can't lay the flagstick 6 inches behind the hole. Okay, it's accidentally, if someone's attending that flagstick and just, gets distracted, probably by that crow that's picking up the ball, and it hits the flagstick or them, there's no penalty. If the flagstick is laying on the ground, there would also be no penalty if it accidentally hits it. Question? Is a shank an accident? No. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was trying to work out whether you meant like it was a practice swing and you've hit it off the toe, or an actual shank. No, that would be no penalty. I don't even. Can you intentionally hit a shank? Yep. Another question. A double hit. We'll come to that. They are still thinking about that one. They're still thinking about that one, whether they're going to take the penalty away. Yep. Dropping a ball in a defined relief area. So the relaxed dropping procedure, I'm not sure if you've seen this one yet, but this is certainly one of the bigger changes that could happen in 2019. You don't have to, at the moment, you have to stand erect, shoulder height and arm extended, and drop it. We'll show a video of what they're going to, or wanting to change that to. Again, if you would prefer that it was just made a place, get on the website and tell them that. Or the fact if you like what currently happens, get on and tell them it. Yes?
So just going back to the previous one about accidental hitting equipment.
Yep.
With the definition of that, it's basically where you're intending to hit it, your equipment's not there.
Yep.
So if someone goes down the bushes, hitting out sideways, and they leave their equipment in the middle of the fairway, which happens to be the line that they're hitting,
Yep.
and it hits their equipment,
Yep.
how would you be going about defining whether that's accidental or not accidental?
And that's a great point. So,
Like they've just accidentally left their club.
yeah, and or
Instead of the line they're trying to hit,
or they
catch it straight to their clubs.
Yep.
Then, accidental.
they're
They're in the middle of the fairway.
the same thing. If you leave your bag over the back of a green and you're hitting out of a bunker, or you're known to knife your chips and you're left your bag back there. That's what that whole increasing the level of integrity and trust in the golfer. So, if people are doing that, they can sort of do that at the moment as well a little bit. I mean, there's nothing that really stops people from cheating if they want to cheat. So, yeah, you see that happen. You see that happen, you just go, what were you trying to do there? But if the person says, I didn't even realise that I would be able to hit it that far or whatever in 2019, and they do hit their bag, then if they kept doing it, Brian said, once is an accident. If it's a repeat habit, then absolutely you'd have a chat to them about that. But yeah, it's about trusting the golfer, increasing trust. We're hoping that 99% or 99.9% of golfers have a high level of integrity. I mean, golf at the moment, you have to referee yourself, and there's nothing going to change about that. So hopefully people understand that and just understand the rules in general. Yeah. And then dropping a ball in a defined relief area. So at the moment, you're 2 club lengths for a penalty drop, 1 club length for a free relief without penalty. They want to change that. They want to change it to 20 inches for 1 club length, and they want to change it to 80 inches for the 2 club or the penalty. Why inches? Is that what? Yeah, 25. So obviously the 2 places where they make the rules, they use the imperial system, so that's why they've gone. You'll be able to, exactly. That's so with the measuring sticks, or you just put some tape on your club. I think Brian, how long's a 3-iron, Brian?
38 inches.
So a 3-iron's 38 inches, so you can half that or double it in that regard. But the thing is, it's an estimation as well. I mean, how many people actually measure out the distance for their 1 club length or 2 club lengths at the moment? So not many is the answer. Like, I obviously do, but not many. And so again, it'll be an estimation. With that, once you have your defined relief area, you'll need to drop in that area and the ball will need to stay in that area. So at the moment, you can drop it in the 2 club lengths. It could roll another 2 club lengths. That can slow down play. So they just want, once you work out your defined area, drop it, keep it in there. But as I said, You don't have to tell me what you're thinking. Tell the R&A, get on the website and tell them what you think.
When you take free relief, for example, from an immovable obstruction, you should follow the steps demonstrated by this player. Determine the nearest point where you no longer have interference. Starting at that point, measure or estimate a 20-inch relief area that is not nearer the hole. And then, drop your original ball or a substituted ball in that area. Anytime you take relief, your ball, when dropped, must land in and be played from the defined relief area.
You'll see there that she worked out her defined area and then dropped it within. And the next video should be that one. The next video shows the dropping procedure.
The act of dropping your ball under the rules preserves the randomness as to where your ball will end up being played from. The proposed new rules retain this aspect of the game, but allow you to drop the ball in a wide variety of manners, including from shoulder height as currently allowed, from hip height, or from any other height, including from much closer to the ground, or in any manner, including by tossing it down. The only requirement is that the ball, when dropped, must be held above the ground without it touching anything, and it must fall through the air before coming to rest.
Rightio, so you could see the different variations. You can still drop it like that if you want, or you could drop it like that, or just toss it down onto the ground. Whatever way, you'd like to get the ball back into play. But I can't stress it enough. If you like that, get on the website and tell them that you like it. If you don't like it, get on the website and tell them that you don't like it. Now, taking relief. A lost ball, they're going to reduce the time it takes to, the time you have to search for a lost ball from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, or if you're playing club golf, 10 minutes to 5 minutes. That was a. That's right. That was 5 minutes, and then 20 minutes to work out where you're going to hit it from next. The embedded ball. So at the moment, I don't know how most clubs go here, but it's closely mown under the rules, and then a committee can make it through the green if they would like. In 2019, it'll be a case of being through the green, and then the committee can make it closely mown only. Okay, so it's just a switch around. And then ball to use and taking relief. If you proceed under a water hazard rule or an unplayable rule, you can substitute a ball. Now, if you are lifting your ball at any time or any time as in obstruction, abnormal ground condition, you'd also be able to substitute your ball. So if it's on a path and you're taking relief, you can just grab another ball. That's what they are proposing. Yep. The putting green, one of my favourite ones, putting with the flag stick left in the hole. So there's no longer a penalty if you hit your ball from on the green and it strikes the flag stick left in the hole. As long as no one's attending it. If it strikes the flag stick left in the hole, there'd be no penalty. I don't see that people from 5 foot are going to be keeping the flag stick in. They'd be more than welcome to, but this is more for pace of play. When you get onto a green everyone else is walking around the side, you're waiting for someone to grab the flagstick, you can just putt without too much worry that if you hit the flagstick and go in, you won't cop that 2-shot penalty. So that they're going to change that in 2019. Repairing damage on the putting green. Probably a lot of club golfers do this anyway, but 2019 you may repair any kind of damage. So spike marks, animal damage, as well as the ball marks and hole plugs that you can currently do.
If they want to speed up play, why don't they say no repairs of any description?
Yep, and
This could take an eternity.
Yep, so, the pace of play issue along this, where people go along the line and try to make a groove, essentially. I can understand that, and I'm sure they'll get a lot of people telling them that that's likely to happen. I can't say whether it will or not, but one of the good, I do think along those lines, but one of the good points of this one is if you've got a 2-foot putt or a 1-foot putt and you don't want to stand in the person's line at the moment because you might damage their line, what they're saying is if you can repair the damage, it's not going to matter anyway. So you go along, you stand in your line, make that 2-foot putt instead of marking, and then that other person can repair that damage. So that's what they're looking at for speeding up play. But how it actually affects the game and how people proceed with that, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Touching a line of putts, obviously, if you can repair a spike mark or a animal damage, then they're obviously going to let you now touch the line to show your putt, or show your line of putt, or your caddy can touch your line to show where your putt is. Also, caddy marking, lifting, replacing your ball in the putting green. Do many people play with a caddy here? Well, this isn't really going to affect you, but if you do play with a caddy, the caddy can go and mark the ball, lift the ball, clean the ball without you saying so. At the moment, you need the caddy needs specific permission before each time that they do that. But in 2019, they're saying go ahead and do it. It's no issue. Yep, and replacing your ball if it moves only after you've already marked it, lifted it, and then replaced it. So your ball's on the putting green, you marked it, lifted it, replaced it, and then subsequently it moves for whatever reason. Now, from now on, or 2019, you would just replace it back, no penalty at all.
So chipping all the way back up using a lower lofted
a la Raymond Floyd.
This looks handy too. Just a little quick there, but he's compiling one of the better rounds of the day is Billy Horschel. Look at him. Running up to mark that before it falls off the false front.
The wind's going that direction. So if a gust of wind were to come up, could literally blow that ball right in the water.
Fortunately, he's put a coin behind it, so the job's done in getting it into his pocket. Wasn't able to find it, but posted a tournament low or a tour low 60.
That's so low. Uh-oh. And we have a rules official, and clearly when this happens on the green, it's got to be a ball moving.
Well, he was concerned about marking his ball, and
No.
No.
So
take us through this.
Oh my goodness. So if he literally had the ball down, and so the ball is in play, he didn't cause the ball to move. If he wishes he caused the ball to move, because then he'd be able to replace it with a one-shot penalty. So he's going to now be playing his 5th shot from the other side of the lake. And he's getting the news now. This is what the ruling is, and he can't believe it. This is one of the injustices of the game. You're on the green, the ball's down, you've already marked it, you put it back, and the wind hits it and blows it in the water.
Had he left his coin behind the ball, is that deemed to be not in play?
No, the ball is in play when you leave your coin behind it as well. And it's really whenever there's a decision like that to be made from a player's perspective, you don't mark the ball down until you are ready to hit it.
Let's just have a look. He was having a look from the other side when a big gust of breeze just came in.
He didn't need to have the ball down. He could have seen the line of his putt with a mark down, and you can see the ripples on the water as the gust hits it. And this is such a helpless feeling. It truly is. There are several rules in the game that are just an injustice from a player's perspective, but it's up to the players to understand the rules and when you can be at a disadvantage.
So now he's able to go back and play from here because this was in fact his 3rd shot.
Correct.
That has been deemed to be the outcome of it.
But it's still stroke and distance, and so he'll be playing 5 from down here. Of course, the ball's going to roll more than 2 club lengths. He'll get to redrop it.
Well, we know Billy Horschel can get hot under the collar, but he'll really need to just take some time here.
Yeah, he needs to collect himself.
He's
had a pretty good round going.
Had a great round going. He was level par here at this stage and was thinking maybe birdie after being over the pond in 2, and now he's...
You know, there's been situations in professional golf where this has happened. I remember Ed Doherty in the 1986 Bing Crosby, Luke, held the lead playing the 17th hole at Cypress Point on a Saturday when he 10-putted. He continued to putt the ball up, and the gust of wind kept blowing the ball off the green.
On which green? On 17?
On 17. He 10-putted and went from in the lead to missing the cut.
It's a cruel game at times, Bobby
And they
Clampett.
suspended play immediately after that because of winds.
So now Horschel playing his 5th shot.
Interesting how he decided to putt this time.
Well, that's a very impressive effort considering what he's been enduring.
That remaining for bogey.
Speaking of bogeys, McIlroy's just made one at the 3rd, so Spieth's lead back out to 3 already.
If you have already marked it, lifted it, and then you've replaced it, in that instance where it rolled into the water hazard, you just be able to take another ball out, replace it, and substitute it for no penalty. Yep. Right, penalty areas. So they want to allow committees the power to mark an area as a penalty area regardless of whether it has water in it. So at the moment, a water hazard must have some kind of shape to it that it would hold water. It doesn't necessarily have to hold water or have water in it, but it needs to be able to hold water. They want to extend that so you can just go and make an area a hazard area or a red penalty area. So then if you've got a hill or a desert or some lava rock, then you can actually just mark that out, basically very similar to a hazard or a lateral hazard, and then players can have got their options to play again as it lies or take relief from that point of entry. Okay, and the committee may mark all penalty areas as red. So if you've got a yellow one, a lot of people hitting onto the green, spinning it back into the water hazard, they could make that red now, where they get to drop on the green side. Okay, that would be 2019, giving the committees more power with their course set up. Yep. With the bunkers, there's no longer going to be a penalty if you touch or move a loose impediment. So if your bunker's got leaves in it or a branch beside your ball, you'd just be able to get rid of it just like you normally do down the fairway. Obviously, if you cause the ball to move, you'd still be penalised for that. Touching the sand with your hand or club is still the same, apart from you can actually now casually ground your club in the bunker if you're waiting for someone to play. Okay, so only if you deliberately test conditions, if you touch sand with the club and making a practice swing, making a practice swing, or grounding club by ball, or in making the backswing of your stroke. So Anna Nordqvist at the US Open last year would, it was grains of sand, but would still get penalised for that case because she still ground her club. Okay, but if you're just leaning on it like this, waiting for someone to play, that would be no penalty. Yep. Oh, and they want to add this new unplayable ball relief option where you may take relief outside the hazard or outside the bunker for a 2-shot penalty. Okay, so if you're in the bunker at the moment, you can go back to last place played for a penalty of 1. You can drop in the bunker back on a line from the ball to the flag for a penalty of 1. You can drop within 2 club lengths of the ball, no closer to the hole, for a penalty of 1. They want to add an additional option. It'd be like a B2 type thing where you can drop outside the bunker for a penalty of 2 shots. Okay.
So if you played 1 shot and then get out of the bunker, you then decided to take the 2-shot penalty shot option.
Yep.
What line do you go back on?
The line where your ball rests at the moment. So you've hit the lip of the bunker, it's rolled back down, wherever that ball is at the moment with the flag, 2 shots out of the bunker back on that line. Yep. Damaged clubs. If you damage your club in any way, shape or form, or anyhow, you would be able to keep using it. So if you're angry and you bend it by hitting it against your foot or against the bag, you'd still be able to use it. There wouldn't be a penalty for using it or carrying on using it. You may not replace a damaged club unless that damage was caused by someone else or something else outside your control. So if someone ran over your bag and broke your driver, you'd still be able to repair it, replace it, but you actually wouldn't be able to replace it if it was just in the normal course of play. Okay. There's an expanded restriction on caddy alignment. So you see on a few tours around the world, professional tours especially, well, you've got to have a caddy to, come under this rule anyway, but you wouldn't be allowed to have your caddy align you or line you up. So you're standing over there, they wouldn't be allowed to stand there and say, yeah, a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Okay? That wouldn't be allowed. Yes?
So that would also apply to a pairs event where your partner can't do that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be. It states caddy there. I believe it would include partner as well, but I'll look into that. Right. So as you can see from a few of these rules, they're promoting a faster pace of play. Whether you believe or agree with that, I tell you to get on the website and tell them what you think. They are bringing in the new recommendation to make each stroke for 40 or fewer seconds. They similarly have something like that. You can make a pace of play policy at the moment in each club. So they're going to try and encourage that a lot more in their new rulebook, and including ready golf. How many clubs here play ready golf or try to encourage ready golf? Yep, so it's already pretty much promoted or encouraged throughout Australia. I think, we're one of the first or most encouraging countries to do that. But obviously whether golfers agree or do actually play under those that encouragement, I'm not so sure. But yeah, the R&A are certainly turning that on, and they're having actually ready golf in a lot of their amateur championships at the moment going forward. As I said, reinforcing integrity, so we're hoping that everyone has that integrity, and let's just make the rules simpler so that they will have a better understanding of the rules and be able to play under them more often. There's an elimination of the announcement requirements, so you'd still have to say that you're playing a provisional ball or not, but you wouldn't have to tell your marker or fellow competitor or opponent that you want to mark and lift the ball for identification. And there's a couple of other things that you wouldn't have to announce. It would just be mainly the provisional ball. And then the reasonable judgment standard. So we sort of saw that a little bit the other day. If you watched the European Tour with John Rahm, he marked his ball to the side and then had to move it for his fellow competitor. Then when he put it back, he believed that he'd put it back to the side, and the European Tour officials or referees agreed with him on that, even though it wasn't exactly where he'd marked it from. 1 inch is probably not a reasonable judgment standard, but a couple of millimetres probably is. Okay. And proposals needing more time. The no penalty for double hit, that was mentioned earlier. So they're still thinking about that. I mean, how many people in here have seen a double hit or actually ever had a double hit that's come to an advantage? Usually it's a case of hitting it here and hitting it behind you. So unless you were aiming to go behind you, there's no advantage there. But they're still thinking about that and allowing a ball to be declared lost. So at the moment you can't declare a ball lost. It becomes lost when you have searched for 5 minutes and you can't find it, or you hit your provisional from a point that's where you think your original ball was or closer to the green. So you can't actually declare your ball lost. I think the European Tour the other day, Ryan Fox, I don't know if anyone saw Ryan Fox, he hit his first ball in the gorse on a par 3, and his next ball he put in the hole. Now it doesn't actually become the ball in play until he picks the ball out of the hole. So if someone had run over to the gorse and found his ball before he picked it out of the hole, the original ball would still be the ball in play. It's not like he can walk down the fairway and go, that's lost ball, I'm just going to proceed with the provisional ball. But they're thinking about it and how they, whether they would allow that for players to call their a ball lost, and that would most likely come in with your provisional. You always seem to hit your provisional straight down the middle, so and that would actually speed up play as well. But still thinking about that one. The alternative to stroke and distance, they've tried to get their way around this with the specific penalty areas. So the specific penalty areas, if you make an area like that and it's point of entry and you just walk down there and you can't find your ball, you just take a drop. But are they able to do that for anywhere, for out of bounds? They're still thinking about that. There's still a few things on the table. Is it going to be a 1 penalty? Is it going to be a 2 penalty shot? Whatever. So they're definitely still thinking about that and really want to bring something in for 2019. So watch this space. And the timeline for all this is for you all to go away, tell your members, and get them to give the feedback on the proposed new rules. They'll take feedback until late August, and then they'll review it up until the end of the year, refine it based on all the feedback, and about this time next year they will tell us what the new rules will be. They'll be locked in, and then we'll get out, Brian, myself, and David in the office, and get out and promote the new rules this time next year. And 1 January 2019, that will be them. They'll be in play. So do we have any questions on all that? All good? You know what you're going to do? You got to get away and get on the website and tell them what you think.